This month, Christians around the world celebrate Holy Week, commemorating the events of Jesus' death and resurrection, beginning with his triumphal entry into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday. Each of these moments was foretold or pictured hundreds of years earlier in the Psalms. These Psalms help to illustrate the wonder of the story of Jesus. So I am interrupting my pattern of exploring the Psalms in sequence to focus this next week on 4 Psalms that highlight the story of Jesus. Today, in honor of Palm Sunday, we're going to look at Psalm 118, which is quoted by the exuberant palm-waving crowds who shouted, "Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord," as they welcomed Jesus riding a donkey into Jerusalem. Even though Psalm 118 was written hundreds of years earlier, it is a perfect lens for seeing what God was doing that day and throughout the week ahead, demonstrating how God's relentless love endures forever. Psalm 118 is framed by the opening and closing lines that celebrate God's unfailing love. And then this love is echoed by a thunderous call and response in the first 4 verses by all of the people calling back and forth to each other. The love of the Lord endures forever. The unfailing love of the Lord never quits. Psalm 118 is a thanksgiving song that celebrates momentous victories in Israel's past and looks to God to do it again. The words of verse 14, "The Lord is my strength and my song," takes us back to Israel's miraculous escape at the Red Sea after 400 years of slavery in Egypt. It cites later victories where all hope seemed lost, but God rescued them with his powerful hand. Israel knew that they were not a self-made people. God was their champion. It was all God's doing. This psalm imagines a festival procession like a victory parade as the celebrants march into the city waving palm branches, coming through the city gates and on up to the temple that symbolized God's very presence. A sacrificial ox or bullock was led to the altar where it would be butchered as a burnt offering in thankfulness to God. The pageantry, the religious zeal, and the patriotic pride made this psalm a feature of Israel's high festivals, especially Passover. When the nation was under military or economic threat, the religious hopes of the people reached fever pitch, and that was the occasion, the day that Jesus came into the city. The chants of "Hosanna" were not just a celebrative "Hooray for God," but a cry of immediate need. "Oh Lord, save us!" or "Salvation now, God," expressing the people's passionate yearning for deliverance once again, this time from the Romans, hoping for a new Exodus, a new Moses Messiah. As the crowds cheered Jesus that day, they never imagined royalty as humble and gentle as this. Jesus did not ride a stallion like a heroic conqueror, but a donkey, deliberately modeling his strategy for healing the world. Even as they sang this ancient song of freedom, the people never imagined that the Exodus God had in mind would dwarf even their wildest hopes and dreams. They never imagined a legacy of peace for the world, not built on violence or sword. God's long-promised king would bring righteousness and justice for all. He will show that God's love is not self-protecting or self-promoting, but utterly self-giving. And this is the love that will endure forever. It will transform families, heal racial divisions, stimulate an economy of mutual prosperity and generosity. Energized by such love, arts and culture will flourish in a radical new renaissance. And when that happens, it will be a new day for the human race, a day that the Lord has made. The whole world will rejoice and be festive. That's the vision behind this psalm. But it had to wait for its fulfillment until he came, the Blessed One, the one who came in the name of the Lord. And when he came, Israel was hard of heart. Its leaders felt threatened by Jesus. They were proud, hard-hearted, and self-serving. They resisted Jesus at every turn and refused to see him as God's anointed king. But God's love never quits. as we will see as we venture deeper into the darkness of this Holy Week. And as Corrie ten Boom said about the horrors of the Nazi death camps, there is no pit so deep that God's love is not deeper still. I pray that that echo of Psalm 118 will encourage your heart today, even in this time of global pandemic. Take care.